Hello, I am Mai and welcome to my channel. Everybody new, everybody old who's here before. So this is my usual setup. I don't think you've known, but I am mostly a gaming channel. So I usually post my clips and compilations. I also stream on Twitch, and usually on the weekends I sometimes do surprise streams during the evening times of the European time zone. I do want to make more vlogs for keeping memories and potentially help other people and just spread awareness. And we're just here to enjoy ourselves. I am very thankful and I really appreciate all of your support. I've been reading every single comment and I'm just not able to reply to all of them, but I do read them all and I appreciate them all. I just get very overwhelmed by the amount of support I'm getting, even though the video was just meant to explain everything in like a short video rather than explaining everything in detail, which I'm gonna do in this video. In this video I would like to also talk about my thoughts and feelings, what I had during my experience in the Czech Republic in 2018. So it was 2018 and I was 19 when I had my gynecology checkup in February with my best friend Andrea. So my gynecologist did the usual stuff where she would check with an ultrasound, and she told me that there's growth that is about an inch big in my womb, which is 2.5 centimeters. She did say she saw it a year prior, but it was small. She just decided not to tell me, which is not okay. Her initial diagnosis was interestingly looking myoma. So I was referred by my gynecologist to this myoma specialist in Prague, who has private clinic hours as well as public with a hospital. So I just chose the public clinic appointment as in case it was nothing. There was no point for me to pay for a clinic appointment. But because it was a public clinic appointment, it was a little later in a month or two. So I was just visiting my then boyfriend in March, I think, and then after my birthday, which was in April, I have seen this doctor who also did the usual gynecology checkups, which were the ultrasound and all that, and he had discovered that the weird looking myoma was growing quite fast, around 4 centimeters, just less than 2 inches. It was big now, so it was rapid growth, and immediately I was booked in for surgery the next month because of the growth. I would like to also say this myoma specialist was known because he removes the myomas without damaging the womb. So surgery was around May, June. We are told some of the recommendations where we shouldn't eat the day prior after 12 o'clock, or I think after 4 o'clock p.m. We should bring our own compression stockings. We get laxatives during the day of surgery so we can get rid of everything we still have in our body. I stayed in this room with 2 other women who had their own things happening. The surgery that was performed was made through laparoscopy, which is a keyhole surgery. So I have I have 4 incisions on my stomach and just underneath the belly. So my intensive care unit was quite a horrible experience. Until now, the nurses, the doctors were great. Everybody was very, very compassionate and empathetic and helping us, answering any questions we had. So in the intensive care unit, there was no a bell you can call the nurse, because everybody's in one room and the nurse is right at the desks on the left. The only way you could call a nurse was taking off your heart sensor monitor. I was basically freezing when I was waking up, right? I wasn't warming myself up after surgery. So when I asked the nurse if I can get something to warm me up, like a blanket or something, they ignored me. When other patients said, "She's cold, can you please get her something? She's been asking for something the whole time." I overheard the nurse saying she's gonna heat herself up with her own temperature, body temperature. Well, apparently not if I'm asking for something to warm me up. Another instance is when I was like getting back in consciousness. I was told off by another nurse, why am I not drinking yet? When nobody told me to start drinking water yet. She just said, well, you should have known. Thank you. Very helpful, miss. So we stay in the intensive care unit for one night and then we wake up. When we wake up, the doctors do the rounds. I was told by my doctor that when they were taking the suspected myoma out, it had ripped in pieces. I think it was when, because they have to pump me up with gas so they don't risk damaging the womb. It could have happened during that time. And he just told me that it has the potential of coming back, which made me quite sad because I was overwhelmed with all these informations I was getting. So I just bursted into crying. I was crying very badly. I'm definitely sure that some of the effects was the day prior, how the nurses treated me, you know? So my nana had to ring me up and to calm me down. Not my strongest moment. For surgery, I've had an ambulance pick me up, which was paid for by the national insurance, and I live like an hour away from the actual city I had it done in Prague, so it was a little bumpy ride. I would like to also say that I got into these checkups and appointments and surgeries alone because I was strong, independent woman. And I also enjoy traveling myself, and everybody was busy and I don't want to bother anybody. So I was like, I love the traveling alone because I could think about stuff in my head and just enjoy the train or bus rides I was taking. Until this day, I still like traveling, just traveling through things, just traveling in general. When my doctor rang me up after a while for the face-to-face appointment, I knew it was serious. So when I went to this doctor appointment, I was alone with my doctor on the left and his nurse on the right. And they just broke the news, basically saying that the tissue came back, diagnosing me with PEComa. I didn't know what that meant. I was given these doctor notes saying what happened, the tissue testing, and telling me a little bit about the PEComa. There were like tiny instances where someone would get it back in 7 years and someone would have had it metastate in 2 years. So I knew that there was potential of it coming back and killing me, and just, you know, one day it's gonna kill me because yeah, it's not really nice. There's no cure. Basically the surgical approach was the best option at the moment. My nana said if you can remove it surgically without damaging anything vital, get it removed. So I was referred to a CT scan just in case I have it anywhere else in my body. I remember when I was going to the scan, I was like the youngest in the waiting room. The scan was done like with contrast, where I would drink this drink for like half an hour to an hour, and then I would get hooked on a cannula, and then I would go through this tunnel. And then the doctors also told me that I should get a hysterectomy as the womb might be the source of the PEComa, which I agreed with. I'm like, yes, definitely. I had some questions and they told me that it would be only removal of the cervix, womb, and they would leave my eggs intact. So potentially in the future could have children outside of my body. I was confident to say yes, it's okay to get the hysterectomy because my husband, my then boyfriend, we talked about it prior to my first surgery because myoma could have also potentially, you know, not be able to bear children in case they would damage my womb. I always thought I wanted children, right? If I was unable to have kids, we were just fine not having children. So I was confident enough to say it's okay to have the hysterectomy because I had my then boyfriend who was very supportive. And my family was not as supportive because I think it's a cultural thing where it could be Vietnamese and Czech culture in general, where family means everything. So they were quite disappointed that I couldn't have children, but I was okay with it. That also meant my eggs left in the body, that I don't go into early menopause. And also the great thing about not having any of those in my body, I had no more period and I didn't have to use contraception pills. So it was like July-ish. My second surgery was done by a different gynecologist. She had explained me how the process is gonna be. She had recommended me all these things. They also had made me sign waivers. Even the last surgery, they just make you sign waivers. It was very similar to the first surgery where we don't eat the day before and all that. The only thing different was that I had to stay an extra day because it's a very invasive surgery. It went through the same way, like a keyhole surgery, through the same scars. And also I was forced to induce myself with a period. I was taking contraception pills, so I could have just done it with basically stop taking your pills for a week and it will make you have a period and then take pills again. It was probably the most painful period I've ever had. I'm not sure if it was because of the first surgery and all that, or because I was making my body have a period unnaturally. I would like to also say that the scariest part about all of this is I had no side effects about the cancer even being in my body. That's why I'm just trying to advocate that you should get your prevention checkups. The gynecology checkups, I think there's a recommendation to get it every year checked, your body, because there can be a lot of things happening to you. As well as every 2 to 3 years you should get your full body checkup, like get your heart rate checked and get your blood tested and all that. So because I stayed an extra day, my nana picked me up. It was awesome. I was told not to talk about it. But basically, I was made to be dishonest by my nana and my mom, which I'm regretting right now. I feel like they just wanted to shield me from the potential pity and making people uncomfortable and sad, which I get it, but there's like a double-edged sword, right? Because then when I finally told my relatives, they were disappointed that I was keeping that away from them. I was basically keeping it away from my dad, my brother, because apparently they wouldn't understand, which I don't agree with. Like, looking back, I should have not listened to my family members and should have just told everybody what it was, the facts, and let them ask the questions if they have any. Because I was even forced to lie to my friends on a school reunion, a meetup, like after 2 years, which at that point they were the longest people I knew as friends. So that was kind of sad. It was a big mistake for lying, basically. I was made feel bad that I didn't tell my relatives by the relatives. Just like a very double-edged sword. Around August, end of summer, I was okay to go back to work. I could only do lightweight work, so I don't work my stitches, and because it was very soon after surgery. It was not very soon, it was soon after surgery. It was like during September, I got my gynecologist checkup at the oncologist unit, which was just a normal gynecology checkup. He had done polyp scraping, which happens after surgery sometimes. He had done it under no anesthetic, which actually is meant to be, but it's fine. He only scraped me once. But like, even though I asked for a CT scan, I was told it was too soon, which I get it. It was a bit soon, as the scan I had prior was clear, and I was not recommended any extra treatments. To that appointment, my mom came with. So with that in mind, getting the all clear from the doctor, I had handed my notice in. I think you are legally obliged to do so 2 months prior in Czech Republic. I also unregistered myself from national insurance and finally could move to the UK in November, which is going to be an entirely different video how that happened, because I feel like this video is already long enough. I would like to thank you so much for all the support I've been receiving and all the kind and encouraging comments I've been getting. All the likes as well as you guys subscribing is helping me a lot. I never could have imagined that my first video is gonna get recommended so much. I'm very glad I did it. It was so hard for me to do it. It took me 2 years. I wanted to do this way earlier. I just felt like it sounds very weird to talk about. I really recommend opening up about everything, all the struggles, everything you're going through. Speak to your closest people, or speak to, honestly, even speak to a stranger. Sometimes it's just nice to talk and open up, and you could potentially help someone not feel alone in their situation and spread awareness. Also like to end this video with, please get your checkups. It really doesn't hurt to know that you're okay. It's good to know that you're okay. And if you're not okay, at least you can tackle anything earlier rather than late. I'm having a CT scan soon, and that's gonna be probably another video where you're just gonna come with me. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.